been here, do you remember him more dominating Wilmie's win? That?
I don't know. I mean, I think there were a lot of falls, obviously, and falls they'll do some damage on the score. But there were some good matches in there, and the matches started off good too. Our guys did a nice job, especially in those lower weights. Nico and Conaway and Pearsall, really pursuing and continuing to score, and then getting those falls when they were there. So that they did a nice job. When you jump out 24-0, that's tough to come back from. It's not good for the morale. So our guys took advantage of it. I think it was a good match for us.
Cael, I know you like to see the wins, the pins, the bonus points, that sort of thing, but does it make it tough for you because it's early in the season still, and I mean this is the first Big Ten duel? Is it make it tough to evaluate? When guys aren't wrestling a full match, is that tough for you at all?
Well, it's important that our guys are getting conditioning after their matches, and if you go out there, Andrew Alton's the guy he gets a lot of early pins, so that would catch up to you late in the season if you're conditioning wise. So he's getting work in, and all of our guys get work in after their matches. So we don't want to discourage them from pinning, but they got to make sure they're getting that work in.
Did you guys know they would forfeit 197?
No, we didn't know that. I know their 97-pounder was injured right away early in the season, and they had somebody else running in there and filling in. But that's just the way it is sometimes.
How big a win is that for Gingrich?
What kind of a win?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big win for him. I think. Hopefully because he's that's a big strong kid, and Gingrich just matched him. I mean, as far as appearance, and kid's arms are a little bit bigger, but so it's just important for him. I hope he gets kind of that, starts to really like that feeling of going out there and winning on the big stage, with all the people and watching and because he's very capable of doing a lot of that. He's got great athleticism, solid conditioning, and that was obviously a factor for him tonight. But I don't think anyone on our team is surprised. I mean, we know what he's capable of. We were more happy for him, making that decision to go out there and win that match. I think that's it's his call, so we're happy he decided to make that happen.
How does that influence the decision who is ultimately the starter at that way?
Well, I guess it just keeps it going. I mean, we got to have the guy that's going to score the points at the Big Ten and the national championship, and I think both guys have shown that they're capable of it. They've been pretty even as far as outside competition, and obviously they're 1-1 against each other. So a scuffle will be big, and we hate going back and forth because they both need to get wins. Get their winning percentage up and to qualify a spot for the conference. A big win like that that can get you into the nationals alone, beating a ranked guy. But we'll see. I mean, we got to figure that out.
Is there a point in the season where you kind of have to make that decision to get enough wins to qualify and to take postseason considerations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we would like to make that decision, a month ago, but it's just not. It just hasn't really worked out that way. They both lost to the same kid at the Nittany Lion Open. They both beat a ranked kid, the same kid, different scores, but so it just hasn't really worked out. So we can wrestle them head to head, but that's really not necessarily what we're looking for. But it might come down to that.
As I said, it seems like you're doing everything you can to avoid having to do that in the room.
Well, it's just not really. It just we want the guy that's going to perform the best out there on the mat. So it's a different feel, and but they're pretty close right now. I mean, that was a big win for Gingrich. I mean, I hope that gets him over the hump of where he gets more excited for these big matches, where he gets a good taste for that, and he likes it. And he wants more of it. That's what we want. And if he does, well, he's going to be pretty good.
Do you think that was a good barometer match for David, just to kind of see where he's at early on against LeBlanc?
Taylor?
Yeah.
Well, I think David knows where he's at. He's just got to wrestle with the energy and the enthusiasm that has gotten him to this point and made him who he is.
When you talk about the conditioning after the match, is there different guys do different things? Is there a set program you guys have? What's the definition of that? How do you guys figure out who does what, when, and why?
It's all individual.
Is it planned, like say Alton gets a first period pin, but somebody else pins in the second or third? Do they do more or less conditioning based off of when their match ends, or is it pretty much standard for everybody?
That's top secret information. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just, you know, making sure our guys are getting the work done and they're on weight. You know, they've had they just wrestled a tough match. So it's the best time, in my opinion, the best time to work on their conditioning is on match day.
Nico said the other week that one thing he really wanted to get better at or work on this year, or have his focus be in the area of getting more pins and dominating matches that way. Have you seen progress in the last 2 weeks in that area from Nico? I know he's got a couple of pins now in his last couple matches.
Yeah, I think he's just the kind of kid. He's very wiry and he scrambles well and he's, you know, clingy. He can be very good on top. You know, that's just something the guys have to make a real effort to attempt. You know, the Altons are both guys, they're not known for riding hard, but when they need to, they can. So it's just a matter of them continuing to emphasize that. And because, you know, tough matches, won and lost, riding point. But Nico can do very well on the mat, and we've seen that. Our team is, in general, been focusing on top a lot the last couple of weeks. So we want our guys turning and pinning. It helps them. And it's a lot easier to ride if you're trying to turn them.
No, it was exciting. The kid pretty much put himself in that position, so I would just decide to go with it and then pin him. Sort of wanted to get a couple more takedowns, but I went with the flow pretty much.
52 seconds, that means you're going to put a lot of work in after the match as far as conditioning, according to what Coach told us. Is that?
Yeah, I went a whole match on the bike and shower wrestling after my match.
How'd it feel to get back out there?
It was
Especially after last year, having to sit and watch.
just exciting, seeing the crowd out there and everybody cheering. It was just really glad got my first match out of the way, rec all this year.
Andrew, at the NLO the other day, you said that you had that little tweak with the ankle. How did it feel today? Feel pretty good?
It's getting better every day. It feels really good, almost 100%.
Dylan, you said earlier in the week that sometimes you guys can't watch each other wrestle. Did you watch them today, or did you see that match, or were you back getting ready for your match?
I always had to be prepared before his match because, you know, it could be quick and I'd be right out there. So, you know, I'm always prepared just to walk out there because, you know, it could be quick. Used to Molinaro, I have at least a little bit of time because he usually tech these kids, so. But I usually watch him. He's in the match before me, so I'm just bouncing around before the match.
Is it something you have to get used to, the fact that with Andrew before you now, that sometimes you will be out there and maybe, what was it today, a minute 24 or
Yeah.
whatever, or 52 seconds, you know, is that something you have to sort of adjust to?
Not adjust to, just warm up like a half match earlier, maybe a match earlier. Just be prepared.
You guys have a lot of family that came in today for this first match. You know, as we talked about, first time in the same lineup here at Rec Hall. You guys have
Yeah,
grandparents and
my
stuff
two
coming in?
sisters, my nephew, and my parents.
Okay. What was the talk among the family this week, kind of leading up to this first match? You guys are finally in the same college lineup. Was that
Just,
kind of like
just my mom. She gets really excited and she likes to cheer a lot. So she's calling me every day, just telling me how excited she is to come up and watch us both.
Can you hear her voice among everyone else's in the rec hall? Or?
Not today. Not usually in rec hall, but in tournaments I can hear her screaming.
I mean, on Sunday I think I was letting too many kids like get to my legs or, you know, just get on shots. I think that's one thing I kind of focused on is like aggressive defense and just moving a little better. And I think that showed a little bit in the match today.
Following up Nico's pin, like that, did you just go out there kind of thinking that you had to get a pin too, or was that just kind of work out that way?
Not really. I mean, I went out there, tried to keep in a high pace. Then once he started slowing down a little, then I mean, in the second period he just kind of wasn't doing much. Then I just got a little more physical and, you know, tried getting the pin. It worked.
What'd you think of that reaction from the crowd as you were standing up? I think it was one of the loudest. It was pretty loud all day, but one of the loudest. in
Yeah,
that place.
it was crazy. I mean, I don't know if you get that experience. Like if you pin someone in another school, I don't think that would happen. So, only here.
It's pretty awesome. That's something like I've never felt before. Especially, I know at the end of the match, like when I got my hand raised and stuff, I felt like I could run through a brick wall. You know, I was so high on energy and just enthusiasm from them.
Is there any kind of pressure with the match being 49-0 that you don't want to be the one that gives the other team points?
You know, I thought about that some before my match, and I remember thinking to myself, you know what, just look at the score. You know, it's going to come down to you for a shutout, but that shouldn't matter. You know, the people that are there for you in life are still going to be there whether you win or lose. So I kind of just realized that I need to not look at it as trying to keep a shutout, but going out there to win for myself.
And you got your first takedown, okay? And then did obviously that pumped your momentum up. Did you feel that maybe he sort of backed off a little bit, maybe became a little bit more defensive because he knew now that the big boy can take me down?
I mean, I think what helped there a lot is was somewhat conditioning. I feel like, you know, once I started getting in the third period, he's a lot more tired. And probably maybe like what you thought, he felt like, oh no, I can't get taken down. But I mean, that's what my game plan was also, was the conditioning and trying to make them tired. So he does take sloppy shots, you know.
You feel that's an advantage for you because you're probably in pretty good shape, and let's face it, some heavyweights are not going to be maybe conditioned as well as you are.
Yeah, I think that is an advantage for me. It's something that I want to, I guess, pride myself on and try to be known for better.